fascinating story, Monica. Thank you. Well, joining me now is the author of that article in Bloomberg Markets Magazine, Michael Smith. He's on the phone right now from Santiago, Chile. And Michael, thanks for joining us. And, you know, reading about Wachovia's involvement in this, why was it a target of these Mexican drug cartels?
Well, I don't know if Wachovia itself was a target. It's more the currency exchange houses which were banked by Wachovia. And it's a very vulnerable industry, and it was open to corruption, and they got in there and found a bank willing to move money for them around the world, wherever they needed to move money.
And what happened at Wachovia? I mean, why did their anti-money laundering efforts fail here?
Well, if you look at the deferred prosecution agreement, you'll see that they understaffed their compliance department, which was in charge of overseeing and watching over all this money for suspicious transactions. But more importantly, there was a conflict between the people who ran the business and the people who were supposed to watch over for suspicious activity. There were several warnings by the compliance people they had on staff that these cartels were using the bank to launder money, and they were basically vetoed by the people who ran the businesses.
But why was that? What do you mean conflict?
Well, because the people that were running this business, which is called correspondent banking, in other words, handling all these transfers and charging fees, you know, they're compensated for volumes of business.
I see. Okay.
And so when the compliance people said, hey, you should close these accounts, we're suspicious, you know, my impression was that they were thinking more about their bonuses and not really thinking hard about what was going on.
Right. They were thinking that they were going to make a lot of money, though, out of the transfer of this cash.
Exactly.
Michael, could any bank, though, in the U.S. here, couldn't any bank be susceptible to this?
Yes, all banks are susceptible, and all banks have massive, any big, reputable bank has a significant compliance department. You know, sometimes hundreds of people who are paid to watch over these transactions for suspicious activity. But, the drug dealers are very clever, and they keep finding ways to circumvent those systems and to play around with the vulnerabilities inside any bank.
Okay, Michael, we'll have to leave it there, but great to talk with you, and a really fascinating article. That was Bloomberg Markets Magazine senior writer Michael Smith, and you can see more of that story in the latest market.
It's not about justice, it's not about agenda, it's not about mobilizing people, it's about dialing for corporate dollars. These two parties have sold the U.S. government and the American people to the highest bidders.